and welcome to Lunchtime Politics, where we bring you the biggest political stories midday right here, live on Channels Television. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Coming up, federal government to get over 1 million SME working as it aligns itself for President Bola Tinubu's commitment to job creation and economic diversification. As Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo residents count down to November 11 elections, we take a look at political parties' level of preparedness in Imo State. The governor of Yobe State says that's reached over 28,000 households with food basket to cushion the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy. Now, barely days after formalizing some agreements on the sidelines of the G20 summit, resulting in pledges to invest in some billions of dollars in Nigeria by some Indian businesses, the president has secured the cessation of the ban on Nigerian travelers by the government of the United Arab Emirates. The lifting of the visa ban comes almost 1 year after, and it follows a meeting between President Bola Tinubu and the President of the United Arab Emirates, Mohammed bin Zayed Nahyan, in Abu Dhabi. The UAE had in October last year banned nationals of some 20 African countries, including Nigeria, from entering its country. A statement by the president's spokesperson, Ajirin Gelali, explains that the president and his UAE counterpart reached the agreement as part of a historic deal between both countries. According to the statement, an agreement framework has been established between Nigeria and the UAE, involving several billions of dollars worth of new investment into the Nigerian economy, cutting across defense, agriculture, and others. It adds that the president has also successfully negotiated a joint new foreign exchange liquidity program between the two governments, details of which will be announced in the coming weeks. Meanwhile, the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Mr. Ajirin Gelali, has been giving details on the agreement between Nigeria and the UAE government. Ms. Angelali explained that other agreements reached by both countries will bring foreign direct investment to the country. It was guest on our political program, Politics Today.
So what we've done is put in place new measures that would ensure that there is effective diligence done on the part of both sides. That's the UAE authorities as well as the Nigerian authorities in making sure that any Nigerian citizen who is seeking to travel to the UAE, for example, is being thoroughly scrutinized, not in a way that is prejudicial, not in a way that is presumptuous or negative, but in a way that ensures that, well-meaning citizens, people who want to go do business, or people who want to, get an education, or people who want to participate as active and productive citizens, in those domains, that they are those people. But then to add new dimensions to that relationship, a partnership that are mutually beneficial to both nations. And I think as we move forward, the details of those investments, the details of the foreign exchange liquidity program that's been jointly agreed to by both countries will become clear. And I do want to add, this was not in the statement earlier today, I want to add that there are ongoing dotting the I's and crossing the T's between the respective ministers from both countries, as well as the national security advisors of both countries, as we really formalize kind of the more minute details of the agreement. But those details will be made available as soon as that's done.
Now, as we await the details of the breakdown of what happened in the UAE with President Bola Tinubu and his counterpart in that country, in terms of what we're expecting for foreign direct investment besides the lifting of the ban, there's a build-up to the off-cycle election in November. That's in Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo State. All eyes are on the electoral umpire INEC for some outing in the conduct of elections come November 11th. The Imo political actors are already warming up to that exercise, and we're going to explore what is going on in Imo State as far as preparations for the elections are concerned. they will be in focus on the program today on Lunchtime Politics. I'm being joined on the program via Zoom from Owerri, the Imo State capital, to have that conversation. Mr. Jerry Chukwueke, who is the special advisor to the governor on Imo. Mr. Jerry, thank you for joining us on the program.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. I'm actually the chief technical advisor to Imo governor on the new Imo project, which
Noted.
is the economic and social development plan of Imo State over a 10-year period.
Thank you so much for that addition to your designation. And of course, we also have joining us from our Abuja studios, Mr. Arthur Ugochukwu, who is a member of the PDP. Thank you, Mr. Arthur, for joining us on the program.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Let me start with you, Mr. Jerry Chukwueke. Give us an assessment since Governor Uzodimma took office almost 4 years ago. Give us just a quick assessment of his performance, in your view, that should necessitate the people to vote for him in the coming election.
It's in the view of the vast majority of Imo people. All you have to do is visit our great state and the progress that is being made by day. The infrastructural development program is being second to none in terms of quality of it and the durability of it. We have roads connecting all our major senatorial districts, Owerri to Olo, Owerri to Okigwe, now ongoing Owerri Umahia roads, high quality drainage, the street lights. Owerri city itself and its immediate domain is now something that is quite beholden. With connecting roads, high quality roads, infrastructure, it is helping in security. We now have clearly an Imo State that is refocused on education. We have the new Imo State University of Agriculture and Environmental Studies to get our people going. The new Imo State Mbadiwe University in Olo is now equipped fully and moving forward. We have the new Imo Polytechnics, the revamped Imo State University. We have the teaching hospital now of the Imo State University. We have the new Futo medical institution that used to be part of the Federal Medical Center that is now the Imo State Teaching Hospital of Futo. So much is going on. We have improved security. Now there's more peace and quiet in Imo State. In fact, if you notice, anybody who is here in Imo in the last week and a half, you see all the security agencies patrolling our rural areas. They're patrolling the streets. They are not in roadblocks. They are moving to give Imo people confidence to continue to return to their businesses and focus on what's going on in Imo State. I can go on and on. Governor is now equipping our young people to bring more and more into the workforce. He is preparing to graduate another 15,000 Imolites in the new Imo Skill Up and equipping them with computers and other gadgets to bring him into the global workforce. That is ongoing.
Mr. Jerry?
He's revamped the nursing school. We're producing our young people to be part of the global workforce. Imo is moving forward.
Mr. Jerry, if I
and
may
we're looking forward to his re-election.
If I may just butt in, because we're constrained by time. A quick one. I'm happy you mentioned security, because Imo used to be some form of a leisure hub for the Southeast and arguably the country. But since this administration came into being, unfortunately, at some point, it became more like an epicenter of insecurity. You have said that security has improved for some weeks now, but the question is arguable because the governor has constantly maintained the issue of insecurity when it comes to who has been perpetrating this insecurity. So he's maintained and said, look, he believes that those perpetrating insecurity in the state, it's all politically motivated. And I'm wondering, if the governor knows that it's politically motivated, why is he not calling names? Why is he not ensuring people are arrested who are causing disturbance in the polity?
Well, name calling can only be a part of it, but that's not the real focus. Well, the question is, what's the governor doing about it? Well, let me give you evidence of what you just talked about. If you check what's going on in Imo in terms of insecurity and the challenges we face, the vast majority of the victims have been members of the APC and supporters of the governor. That's clear. But moving forward, our great governor is the governor of all of Imolites, regardless of party. If you check currently where we are, his focus now is bringing more peace and quiet to Imo State. He's driving the Imo Charter of Equity, which was part of the political instability and part of the concerns from all the security reports that didn't help our security situation. Now he's driving it to say after his second term, the governorship rotates to Owerri zone, after which it will be Okigwe zone's turn. Imo is getting more quiet. In addition to that, they focus on jobs creation because that's also a nexus in terms of insecurity, but we need peace and quiet. Because one of the key things the governor is most concerned about and keeps him up at night is the significant amounts of money being invested in supporting the Imo security structure and infrastructure. He wants to be able to divert most of that money back into Imo development, which is the key thing. So Imolites should please stay calm, go about their business, because the progress is being made in security. The elections will be free and fair, and he wants it to happen free and fair.
Mr. Jerry, let me switch gears now to Abuja studio, where we have Mr. Ato Ogochukwu, who is a member of the PDP. I want to know, Mr. Ato, you heard all the things, all the claim by the SA to the governor has said in terms of the security situation in Imo State. Do you agree that Imo is really, really safe at the moment, that as the elections are coming up, everybody should just be relaxed and be calm?
Thank you very much, my good friend. And I am very glad you asked one of the multiple SAs in Imo State this question right now as regards to insecurity. These people are living in denial. The members of the APC and the multitude of persons the present governor has appointed into various positions to see whether he can bring himself back to power. The issue of insecurity in Imo State is there for the barefoot, even for the blind and the deaf to see for themselves. The security situation in Imo State has deteriorated so badly, starting from the 14th of January, when His Excellency was sworn into office by the pronouncement of the Supreme Court. So it is a clear thing. It is not something that is hidden. There is no way they can deceive the people because the masses are there to see things for themselves. And what I would want Channels Television and the other media houses in Nigeria to do from today is stop speaking to these people via Zoom. Take your cameras, go down to Imo State. Stay in Imo State till 7 p.m. and see if you will see any single person on the road. Businesses are collapsing. People are dying in droves. The traditional rulers no longer live in their ancestral homes. All of them are in various hotels in Owerri. So how can somebody wake up and tell you that the security situation has improved when just day before yesterday, one of the traditional rulers in the hometown of Amifeke, that of former Governor Chukwu Denwa, his home was burnt to ashes by unknown gunmen, by detractors, by some persons that the government promised to mention their names sometime last year, and up till now their names have not been mentioned. So if you would do a thorough investigative work, go to Imo State, drive around Imo, see for yourself if these things are true. Because when you invite them via the Zoom, they will go to the back of a particular hotel where most of them lodge and then turn on their camera and tell all sorts of lies to Nigerians, tell all sorts of lies to the world that Imo is safe, Imo is this. Meanwhile, they cannot drive 1 kilometer to their homes. So it's a very, very glaring fact. Imo is in dire need of their lives back. The people of Imo State are no longer praying for the government to give them light. They are not praying for the government to build roads for them. They are not praying for the government to give them food. What they are now praying for is to get their lives back, is to be alive. That is the prayer of average Imo person. If you go there, do your due diligence, you will know what I am telling you. That these people are just waiting for November 11 to come so that they will take their PVC and vote out this government that has caused them much pains, that has caused them much insecurity, that has made them not to sleep in their various homes. The people of Osu are not living in Osu. The people of Olu are not living in Olu. The people of Oguta, Ohajebema, the people of Izombe, they are no longer living in their homes. And somebody will turn on their camera phone somewhere very close to the government house and tell you that Imo is safe, that Imo is secured, and this and that. So it's part of the things we are seeing. It's a deceitful government, and we cannot continue to allow this to happen. And I trust my people. I know Imo people how we behave. When they have taken a decision, they will stand by that decision. This is not the first time Imo people are defeating an incumbent. We did it in the past during the time of Ike Hakim. He was an incumbent who wanted to run for a second term. Imo people said, no, we have not fared well under you. You must go. Irrespective of the resources that then government put in place, irrespective of the threat, so many languages that was meted out to the people of Imo. On the day of election, they voted. They followed the election result to INEC office along Port Harcourt Road. Imo people slept on the road for 3 good days until Rochas Okorocha was declared winner. That is the perseverance, that is the kind of spirit that Imo people exhibit. So what we are seeing in Imo today, we are not going to see them we're going to see them no more by November 11th, because people want to have their lives back. People want to walk from their house to their neighbor's house. People want to bury their dead. People want to conduct their traditional marriages.
Mr. Ogochukwu, if you can hear me just for a bit. Mr. Ogochukwu, if you can hear me, the governor had mentioned time and again, just like I said to his special advisor, it mentioned time and again that the opposition is responsible for the insecurity and instability in the state. And you're talking about the level of instability in the state. Is there any reason why you'll be pointing an accusing finger at the opposition?
Thank you very much. The governor is the executive governor of Imo State. As a result, is the #1 security officer of the state. Like I mentioned earlier, sometime last year, the governor came out when the former governor, Ihedioha, was moving around that he wanted to run for governor. The executive governor, Hope Uzodinma, said on national television and gave a date that he was going to mention the names of sponsors of insecurity in Imo State. And the Imo people were very happy. Everybody opened their arms, waiting for him to mention the names of the sponsors of insecurity. Up to this minute, as I speak to you, not even one person has been mentioned. It is a clear time. Like I said, he's the executive governor. He receives security votes. He receives security briefing every day on a daily from the various security agencies in Imo. So if they have told him that a certain member of PDP is a sponsor, is part of the sponsors of insecurity, what is holding him from arresting the person? If they have told him that a certain member of Labour Party, ABGA, AA, or what may not, what is now holding the governor from activating the powers and authorities of office to arresting such a person? So this is the kind of deceit we see in Imo. I will give you an example. When Rochas Okorocha left office and he had a face-off with the Hope Uzodinma, some of them started saying, Rochas Okorocha was part of the insecurity in Imo. They went as far as arresting the son-in-law to Rochas Okorocha. They went to the house of God, desecrated the house of God, arrested him, bundled him into a vehicle, and he was almost naked. And people said, wow, this probably is the sponsor of insecurity in Oluso. And then 2 weeks or a few days later, the guy was released. When it was the turn of Ihedioha, they started saying, pointing accusing fingers. In fact, a certain Ihedioha's name was mentioned around December or January last year. So that has gone out. Now, former deputy governor of Ihedioha was arrested on trumped charges too, like he was. And now those people are all going freely and then probably romancing with the present government for reasons best known to them. So it's not about saying the sponsors of insecurity are opposition. The sponsors of insecurity. That is not why we elected the governor to tell us the sponsors of insecurity are opposition. We elected you because we want to be alive. We want to be protected. And you have known that these are the sponsors of insecurity in Imo State. It's your duty. Your duty bound to go and prosecute them. Arrest them and get them prosecuted. That's what Imo people want to see.
All right, Mr. Ogochukwu.
So when we came on board, yes.
Mr. Ogochukwu, let's take it back to Owerri. Let me talk to Mr. Jerry. Mr. Jerry, Mr. Ogochukwu is saying that, in his view, insecurity is quite pervasive, such that where you are is probably an hotel. You are in hiding. Are you in hiding? Is this how bad things are in Imo State, by his opinion?
You see, this is just typical. This is typical political talking point, which is geared towards their supposed and imagined victory that will never happen, because Imo people see what's on the ground. By the way, if you notice, he said nothing to challenge the developmental efforts of our great governor. He said nothing about all the great works that happened in Imo. The only conversation he's prepared to have is the so-called insecurity. I am in my country home in Awaka, Owerri, which is a good 7 kilometers or so from the city. I'm not in a hotel. That's how most of us live. I'm talking to you from my home. Now, put that aside. Just a few weeks ago, I want you to see all the major events that have taken place in Imo State. The Medical Association of Nigeria was here. Before that, it was the judicial people who were here. Major organizations coming to Imo to hold their conferences. Does that suggest to you what he's talking about? Does he give you an answer as to why many of the victims, or most of them, of the insecurity or the violence are APC members and supporters of the governor? Is that not clear proof of a politically contrived situation? But guess what? The governor is on top of it. We are moving forward. There is more and more peace in Imo State. There is no state in Nigeria where there is no insecurity or security challenges. The question is, are they being contained? And this governor is doing a great job at it. Imo is peaceful, reasonably so, compared to what's going on in Nigeria. People are going about their business. And by the way, if this gentleman and his PDP cohorts have an answer to the insecurity, and they say they're waiting for November the 11th to turn the magic on, the magic wine, and security will return to Imo, why do they have to wait till the November the 11th? They can do so now, in the interest of Imo people. So we have more peace and quiet. Now, you notice that our governor just now moved on the whole balancing of gender sensitivity and the issue of ecumenical balance. We now have a woman deputy gubernatorial candidate of the APC who is from the Anglican community. And the whole idea is to continue to balance what's going on in our state. And by the way, her husband is a non-PDP active politician. But it's an all-inclusive government that governor is pursuing, that all Imo lines to join hands together. Let's push Imo forward, Imo first. That's what we're talking about. I challenge the PDP gentlemen and people. If you have the solution to insecurity, turn them right now. Don't wait till November the 11th. So you can save more lives of Imo people. Our governor is doing a great job.
Mr. Jerry.
Security is better and better by the day. And I'm in my country home in Awako, Owerri, having this conversation with you.
Okay, it's important we posited that because it's saying that most of you are in hiding. So I needed to ask that question clearly. But do you think your government is giving...
That just tells you they are talking to
Mr. Jerry, just
That's
a
all they
minute.
have to talk about.
Mr. Jerry, just a minute.
Yes.
Do you think that your government, led by Governor Hope Uzodinma, has been giving everybody a level playing ground ahead of the November 11 election, such that everybody is quite confident that this exercise is going to be free, fair, and quite credible?
I believe so. Not only do I believe so, that's what's happening on the ground. I did mention to you earlier that in conjunction with the security agencies, there's now security patrol in our rural areas, rural communities, the city. They are not disrupting anybody's lives. They are not in checkpoints or roadblocks. They are moving around, giving more confidence to Imo people so they can come out to vote and, quite frankly, go about their business so Imo can continue to get better. This governor has done a great job. I invite all the opposition, people who have nothing to talk about other than the contrived insecurity, to please take a deep breath in the interest of Imo people and join hands so we can continue to build Imo and move Imo forward.
All right. Let me now take you to Mr. Atta. A couple of questions we have, but unfortunately we're constrained by time. A couple of political questions as well as issues of governance. But for now, let me ask you, what exactly is the PDP bringing to the table that is enough to unseat the Uzodinma-led administration come November 11?
Thank you very much. Before I answer that, let me talk about where he said I did not talk about the achievements of the governor, because there is nothing there to talk about. If there was something for the governor for me to have talked about, I definitely would talk about that. If you go to Imo today, there is no single project accredited to the governor's name. And that is a fact. So forget about what they are saying, forget about what they are being. When they get to government house, they get their palms greased and they come out to begin to sing the praises of the governor. There is no single project in Imo State that could be attributed to the governor's name. The major road they talked about, the Okigwe-Owerri Road, Olu-Owerri Road, and then Umaya-Owerri Road are all federal projects, and which were executed at very exorbitant amount. If he can tell you how much a kilometer of that road was constructed, you will know that it was for profit making. You know that it was not for the interest of the masses. It was a federal road, and it was executed, and the refunds, part of it are being paid back, and the remaining will be paid back for the purpose of the profit. Now, you get to Imo State, like I said before, there are so many things, a lot of things deteriorated. There is no single project working in the local government. You go to each of the 27 local governments who have an Imo, no single project in each of the local government. They are all under lock and keys under the present government. There is a memo that was released a week ago about how the governor requests the local government solars to transmit back to a supposedly joint project account at some of our 90-something million. You multiply it by 27 local governments, that will tell you how much that goes out of the local government every month to unwanted names and whatever they might call it. Now, my party, the People's Democratic Party, have seen the cry of the people. We have heard from the people. We have fought the 27 local governments of the state, which the APC cannot even get into. We spent a lot of money to that regard, and then we have heard from the people that the major problem that they have now is to be alive again. So we want to make the people have a government that is belonging to them, a government that is living with them, not a government that lives in Abuja and comes back once every 2 weeks just to siphon the money and then go back to where it's coming from. So this is part of the things we are bringing to the table. The workers are not being paid. Last week, there was a protest about people who, the civil servants in the state, their videos are here. I can tender them to you if you want it. Protesting in so many places who are being on 40 months of salaries. But these people will rock out with that, put on the ring lights, and then come up and tell you multiple lies about what is going on.
Mr. Ogochukwu, I think that's quite a good place to anchor it. The luxury of time is actually what we don't have on the show, but our eyes and our ears are still on Imo State to follow up ahead of the November 11 governorship election. I want to thank Mr. Jerry Chukwueke, who was the essay to the governor on New Imo, and of course the PDP member and leader Ato Ogochukwu from our Abuja studios. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program, and we wish you the very best in the coming exercise.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Sure. Let's move on now. The MSME and Job Creation Unit in the Office of the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, disclosed that interventions are geared towards ensuring the realization of President Bola Tinubu's administration's commitment to job creation and economic diversification. A statement by the Director of Information of the Office of the Vice President, Mr. Lushola Biola, says the beneficiaries cut across 17 states, namely Abia, Rivers, Jigawa, Benue, Borno, Lagos, Ekiti, Niger, and Sokoto states. Others are Enugu, Gombe, Akwa Ibom, Yobe, Ondo, Osun, Bayelsa, Imo, and the FCT. According to the statement, the interventions include provision of 300 kVA solar panels and mini-grids to provide 8 hours of electricity a day to 6 fashion hubs and 2 furniture clusters in 4 markets. Now, the Yobe State government says it has reached over 28,000 households with food basket to cushion their hardship following the removal of fuel subsidy by President Bola Tinubu. The Executive Secretary of the Yobe State Emergency Management Agency, Mohammed Goje, disclosed this in Gashua, Yobe State, while distributing food palliatives to over 7,000 persons in that area.
We are here by the Director of His Excellency Governor Malabuni to come to Bade local government area to continue with the Renew Hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Tinubu, GCFR, of cushioning the effect of subsidy removal by supporting households with food basket so that it will increase food security in the community and there will be food security within some household. Today we are targeting over 7,500 households in Bade local government area, Gashua town. We are doing it in batches, and each household will go home with either 20 kilograms of rice or 20 kilograms of maize. And with this support, the support is a continuous process, and we hope each and everybody will use it for the intended purpose, and we pray that this will reduce the hardship that the community are undergoing.
And as I will draw the curtain on the program for today, and of course, thank you so much for your time and of course, your usual company you've been served. Thank you for watching.